Wild Symphony is about a musical conductor, and it's a mouse. Maestro here is going to be our guide through the entire Wild Symphony adventure. At the beginning of the book, you'll learn that Maestro Mouse is preparing to put on a concert, gathering his musical friends from all over to play in his orchestra. It has a giant blue whale, an anxious ostrich, even some gruffly snuffling dancing boars.
Dan, a lot of critics have said that you have such a brilliant mind, and that kind of comes from how you grew up. It's in your DNA. Explain to us what your family life was like and your mom and dad.
Yeah, I had a very interesting childhood. My parents did not want me to have a television. They didn't want the kids to watch TV. They wanted us to read and to practice music. And so as kids, our entertainment was reading children's books, and listening to classical music. My mom was a professional classical musician, and our record collection was entirely classical, so I didn't really know there was anything else. And those were some of the fondest memories of my life. So with Wild Symphony, I thought, let me try to recreate that experience.
Yeah, and it's kind of you have like both sides of the brain there, because your dad was a mathematician, so the analytical side, your mom's artistic side being the church organist, but you also had growing up kind of that thought in your mind of science versus religion.
Yeah, I grew up in a very religious family. My mom was quite religious, and I sang in the church choir and was confirmed and all that, and read the Bible. And when I was about, I think, 12 or 13, I went to the Boston Museum of Science and learned about evolution and the Big Bang, and went back and asked my priest, hey, which story is true? And unfortunately, this particular priest said, nice boys don't ask that question. So what happened to me was that I gravitated away from religion into the world of science, studied a lot of science all the way through college, and eventually realized that when science starts tackling the tough questions, the ground starts to get a little mushy, and it actually circles all the way back to spirituality, and quantum physics has a lot of that in it. So I've sort of been on this journey of discovery and still have a lot of questions and not too many answers.
Yeah, with the Da Vinci Code, what you did is what a good book can oftentimes do. You sparked controversy, you sparked conversation.
Wait, please. You're saying the Holy Grail is a person? A woman?
And it was like a literary puzzle. You actually grew up with puzzles in your house as well.
I did. On Christmas morning, we would come down to the Christmas tree, and there would be no presents. There would be an envelope with a code in it. And I would decipher the code, and it might send me to the bathroom where I find another code, or out to the kitchen, or out to the woodpile. And eventually it would lead me to wherever my dad, who did these puzzles, had hidden all the presents. So it was, codes for me as a kid were just magical. I loved them. And of course, I put them in my work now just because we all love to solve a mystery.
Yeah, okay, my son's birthday is coming up. He just gave me an idea. You have said before that you kind of dabbled in the music career. I don't think this is called dabbling when you self-produce a children's cassette, Synth Animals, when you form a record company, and when you join the National Academy of Songwriters. That is not just dabbling, Dan.
Okay, I guess because I didn't have much success, I used the word dabbling. I worked very, very hard at it. I had limited success. But I've always loved music. I've composed music since I was a little kid and play piano every day. I've been writing music my whole life, just very quietly. I don't advertise that fact. And so with Wild Symphony, I had the incredible opportunity to write a larger piece of classical music and attach it to a book. And it's been such a joy, this collaborative process of creating music. You're working with a symphony orchestra and a conductor and recording engineers and all of that. It's been a lot of fun. Very different than writing novels all alone in the dark.
And very different from how most of us share a children's book with our children. So tell us, because you've ruined it forever now, but tell us how this works, what we're going to see.
The symphony is, and first of all, I should just say, incredible honor for me to have the North American premiere played by Houston Symphony, one of the great orchestras in our country. So I'm very grateful for that. And it's going to be an exciting, this is COVID, the world's upside down, it's all different. You would imagine a huge orchestra or a huge hall filled with people. It's going to be different. It's going to be a live stream, but in some ways, it's almost more exciting because you get to see close-ups of the players playing the symphony, seeing how they actually work their instruments.
You travel with Maestro Mouse and his musical friends, and then at certain times there's these cues where you have that combination of the pictures and then the music that supports it, the score, if you will.
Yes, so you open the book and you have a tour guide that is as a mouse, Maestro Mouse, and he takes you on an adventure. And on each page, there is an animal. There's a poem about the animal. The animal has a little moral lesson for children and actually a lot of adults. And there's also a piece of music that goes with it. And the music is accessible free. I mean, there's a free app that comes with the book where you just hold a smartphone over the page, and it instantly knows what page you're on. It detects what animal you're looking at and plays the right piece of music. It's a lot of fun. Kids are having a lot of fun with it. Sort of this high-tech magical experience.
We're going to give people details on the live stream family series concert that's coming up. But before I let you go, speaking of lessons, I think there's so much that people can get out of music. I was in band, played the flute and piccolo, and we oftentimes say, people, come on, get on the same page. When you're in music, you're not on the same page. You're on the same up or down beat. You're on the same note, right? Yeah. And you work in a team and you make something beautiful happen. The importance of, if parents can expose their children to music and to writing and reading that book from cover to cover, but not only reading a book, but sit down and write one.
Yeah, you know what? Absolutely. I mean, I wrote my first book at 5 years old, dictated to my mom. The creative process is inspired by music. I believe actually it's scientifically shown that music at a young age will inspire creativity in people in all fields, not just in music. I encourage all of these kids to write their own music, write their own poems, draw their own pictures, be creative. That's one of the great joys of my life is creativity, and I know a lot of people share that joy.
Yeah. All right, Dan, can you tell us what you're working on next, or is that?
I can tell you I'm working on a Robert Langdon thriller, and I can't tell you much else. I can tell you that it's a little bit different in that Robert Langdon in past novels always meets conveniently meets a beautiful cryptologist or neuroscientist or something.
Do you need help with Latin?
Sure.
In this book, it opens and he's in a relationship. He's been in a relationship for a number of years. He's very much in love, and it's a slightly different Langdon. So it's going to be fun.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to hear about that. And hopefully by the time that rolls out, we can meet in person in Houston.
That would be fantastic. How fun would that be?
All right. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Pleasure's mine.
One of my greatest hopes for Wild Symphony is that it provides an opportunity for parents and kids to come together and enjoy beautiful illustrations and stories that teach, and of course, a whole lot of fun music.